And yeah, recording started. So thank you for joining today. It's a long week and another day ahead of us, and still you're here. We're happy to see you. So much faces, so much names in the list. um, so my name's Lisa. I'm a technical writer. Sometimes I describe myself as a pandemic-born technical writer because my career transition happened 5 years ago. And currently I'm working at JetBrains, a software development company known for creating a number of popular IDEs. But I have very different experience of working with both enterprises, startups, creating internal and external documentation. I was a solo tech writer. I was part of a large team of tech writers, so I had an opportunity to look at the profession from different angles. I do really love technical writing, and today I would like to bring more attention to that profession, general career path in general. And yeah, I definitely find it helpful and useful for everybody in your daily tasks. So yeah, the first part is me speaking a lot, and the second part, I would like you to join the discussion. We complete several tasks. I won't be hard on you, I promise. I understand that everybody's tired. And I also hope to make it interesting and inspiring. So in the first part, so you get to join the second part. There are not so many tech writers in companies, usually definitely fewer than developers, for example. And sometimes conversations with people in the office starts to be this way. So, hi, what do you do here at company name? I'm a technical writer. So what do you do exactly? So yeah, we are a rare breed. And very high level answer to this question. So who's the tech writer? That yeah, it's a person who writes some technical stuff. And both sides, writing side and technical side, are equally important. So you need to combine these skills. And also because of that, tech writers have very different backgrounds, both tech and non-tech. I'm from writing side, so my education was about languages and literature, and I learned tech part while I was working already as a tech writer. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage is that combination of two sides helps different people find transferable skills and to choose this career path for them. And sometimes the disadvantage of it is bureaucracy problems. So for example, if you need a working permit somewhere and your job title should be close to your formal education, that can be a problem. Because surprisingly, in European Union, I don't know exactly about the UK, it's not a lot of degrees in the universities that prepare technical writers. I know only one in France. It's a master degree, so not bachelor. So you cannot choose tech writing right in the beginning after school. And yeah, tech writing as a field is quite diverse. So instructions on the spaghetti box about how to cook it, manual to the coffee machine, IKEA assembly instructions, Amazon instructions how to return the order. And finally, developer-facing documentation, API reference, getting started, tutorials. So the tech writers do all that things. That's just different types of documentation, of instructions. Some texts tech writers are writing can be very formal, like compliance stuff or text in heavily regulated industries like pharmaceuticals, aerospace, and so on. I don't do that kind of stuff. I write for people and now maybe a bit for AI. So I'll present this part of the profession, writing for people. Um, and yeah, then your title has word writer in it. It's quite logical to presume that the main thing you do is writing. Well, that's not true. Text is the main output of my work, yes, but writing itself is only part of what I do. I talk to people, I gather information, I learn a lot about the topic, about different topics, and you should definitely be able to do it in a very short time. I test product, I gather feedback. Mm, and that's also kind of a reason why this job is still AI proof. Maybe in the perfect company with perfect processes, tech writers can be replaced, but such companies don't exist. So if there is a human in the loop, perfect process is just not achievable. But still, we should try to improve it, to go for it. But yeah. So doesn't this description of my daily tasks sound like what you do, what everybody does, at least from time to time? So we all need to write some kind of instructions. We need to describe processes. So topic can be different, but this action itself, creating instruction, it's the same for so many professions. It's useful in so many careers. This means it's worth learning tech writing basics. It's not only good for your reader, and I would say through that your career, but it also reduces your time and effort on writing something if you know how to start, at least, if you understand how to write. These basics can be applied as a set of rules, and we're going to try to go through some of them and train them in the second part. Let's name it a hard skill way to tackle tech writing. Another way to master tech writing is, well, at least to some extent, is empathy. Let's call it soft skill way. Obviously, we need to combine both ways to be like very, very good. But if you need fast results, and if you need a fast result and you know your learning patterns, you can choose the one that suits you more and that's gonna bring you the result. So why the empathy? If you remember just one thing from today's session, let it be, think of your reader. Just these 4 words. I'll try to repeat it several times throughout the session. So think every time when you start writing anything that's going to be read by another human being. Who is my reader? What knowledge, what background he or she has? What this person want to achieve by reading that? What I want this person to do after reading that? Answering these questions gives you a lot. Structure of the text, means of communication, amount of details. So let's say you're in the room, there is a big button, and you push it, everything explodes. What kind of instruction are you going to do that? Just big letters, don't push, most likely. And probably not that good way to have the instruction there, like this button is designed to blah, blah, blah. The outcome of pushing it, blah, blah, blah. So this is an extreme example. But if you apply all these questions about the audience, about the result you want to achieve after somebody reads that your text, you're going to find that it's like very, very helpful. So let's go to the more like job context. Doesn't matter what your profession is, what you do. So general types of documentation can be. It can be something for your colleagues. It can be something for users outside of your team or organization. So yeah, right now, if somebody wanted to join, you can already join me. So what you can think of? What's the difference in these two types of documentation, for example? So your audience is your colleagues, or your audience is somebody outside. Yep. Val, I see your hand.
Hi. Maybe in the context of team, people have more. Oh, sorry. In the scenario of when we're writing documentation for the team, then maybe team has more context about what we're writing about, and they have more knowledge. So it means that if we create documentation, then maybe we need to go in less details when we write for the team, because a lot of things can be kind of understood without saying, whereas when we're writing for other people, we need kind of to provide more details, something like that.
Yes. Oh, good. So, sorry. For your team, you're definitely gonna give less details. For example, you're not gonna introduce the product of the project, but also your team can consist of different roles, different people, and so even within the team, there's gonna be a lot more different roles, audiences, let's say. But if we compare these two, just audience outside, audience inside, yes, of course, it's going to be a lot less detailed with like these high-level details. Good. So another parent of looking at on the audience. So your audience can be experienced, can be just beginning in the field. Also, the instruction or like any text for these two audience going to be quite different. So somebody joining the team actually is a good way to test your documentation, to test your processes as well. So if a newcomer during the onboarding cannot understand something, it's a really, really good idea to fill this gap and create more instructions, because it's obvious only actually to you because you're for a long time working that project, that product, these tools. And yeah, and active user, experienced user going to be interested in absolutely different information about the product. So yes, and here we go to the very first exercise. So we still continue to talk about different roles and their background and their understanding. So on the next table, on the next slide, there is a table. There's 6 terms and 3 target audiences. And we should, on the intersection, we should place know or explain. So we place know is nearly everyone in that target audience can understand that term without no additional explanation. So just simple and usual for them. And we place explain if this term might be not that good known among this audience. So we can go line by line, for example, and so know or explain. And if somebody is disagree about proposed idea, please share that as well, because actually this task is quite interesting, although it looks simple, but to my amusement, people who are not from tech were completing it closer to the proposed answers. So that's a kind of bit of a tip. So yeah, if somebody wants to or I can go with C++, for example, and somebody continues. So term C++, professional software engineer definitely knows because it's programming language, easy. Computer science majors starting their second year of undergrad, well, yes, they know that as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, somebody wants to.
No, I'm trying to interactive session.
So, and people who use apps on their smartphones, so usual people without tech background, probably not going to know that term. So we need to explain them what's that if we want to share something about it. What about prime numbers? Who knows that and who needs the explanation?
I suppose in ideal world, everyone know prime numbers.
In ideal, yes.
Let's
But-
assume.
But actually, since it can be, it was learned sometime in high school. Well, maybe not. I don't remember as well in school. But people who use apps on their smartphones most likely already forgot what's that. And a bit of explanation won't hurt. Professional software engineers and definitely students gonna know that, yes. Machine learning. Okay. Again, I'll just go through it with my comments. If you want to join or if you want to share anything, please do that, even without raising a hand. So machine learning. I would say, again, professional software engineers and students. Yeah, please, Val.
I would like to clarify something about this machine learning, because how deep do people need to understand this term? Because probably lots of people understand what machine learning is, but in very common understanding. But when we're talking about deep understanding, how this machine learning works, etc., then probably
That's
yeah,
that's exactly the right question we need to ask here. So that depends obviously on the, let's say, text we're writing about machine learning. If it's very high level, no need of additional explanation. If it's more like for professional level, then okay, yeah, people with smartphones gonna know that not deep enough. So yes, that's right thing to think about. Next line, app. Easy, everybody knows. Yep, true. Thank you. Journaling and writing also works. And yeah, another interesting example, release branch. Somebody wants to? Okay.
first two probably will be no, and the last column probably will be explain.
So yes, that's the first assumption. But again, my education was not in the tech. So I was surprised to learn that in a lot of different studying programs, you don't actually learn how to work on the code in a team for a long time, maybe only somewhere close to the end, or when you actually start working, start find some practical some opportunity to practice, some internship. So real branch can be less known for students, and let's say they might know the general idea, but be not that good in the details, like machine learning for people who use apps, something like that. So yes, sometimes our assumptions about the audience can be not exactly right. So we need to learn the audience. And yeah, another problem, actually, two problems. So imposter syndrome and curse of knowledge. So curse of knowledge is something that we think that we know good because it's about like our field of work, and we assume that everybody understands that that's like so easy. And so, for example, professional software engineer want to describe to a student what's a release branch, what's that for, because come on, everybody knows that, everybody uses that, but this everybody only applied to your bubble or to yourself. And another thing, imposter syndrome, is then we assume that everybody knows more than we are when we do. It can affect in the same way. We're going to create overcomplicated documentation because we were going to omit some details that most likely we ourselves going to need, but we think, oh, it's just me, but everybody else know that. Also, for example, problem with the newcomers in the companies of quite often, they don't ask and then they try to do something. They also assume like, oh, everybody around me knows that, just for sure. But yeah, actual professional audience is more like you than like any, I don't know, Albert Einstein or any other scientists of the past or present. And don't get me wrong, actual professional audience consists of bright, well-educated people, but they know, this audience knows a lot about their profession, but probably knows much less than you about the topic you're documenting. So let's say CTO of your organization gonna know less about the process you are in every day, because he or she just doesn't do that on a daily basis. They need details. And that doesn't mean that they're like not clever enough. No, they just do different things. So, second exercise. It's about just rephrasing, improving. So, let's go just one sentence at a time. So, if you can propose any idea how it can look better somewhat, and if you can share why it's better that way, amazing. The moth was removed by Grace Hopper. What can be improved about this sentence? Or everything's fine?
Maybe we can add what kind of moth was removed or why it was removed. I don't know.
So no, in that case, it's not that deep, because it's just a random sentence, like not the whole instruction about like removing moths. It's just the passive voice. Can be. So okay, this exercise is mostly about grammar changes that can make reading somewhat easier in the understanding. So so sometimes the task of a technical writer is to create text that can somewhat save mental effort of the reader, because actually, if there is a long sentence, you need to read several times to understand, like the third one here, because it's like everything combined, mixed. Then it's not a good sentence. What's wrong with passive voice? It makes our brain work, because we need to change order of things. So who's the actor, who's not? Yep. So just the easiest way to change this sentence is Grace Hopper removed the morph. That's it, simple. The second sentence can be changed in different ways. I can just go to the examples. So, and these examples of how that can be changed are a bit somewhat interesting. So first option is already better, because it's a clear instruction to specify, it gives you order right away. Nice. Second option is better than the first one. If we're talking about the instructions, so then people looking for instructions, they want to complete, when they want to achieve something. And so if here in the first part of the sentence, that's what they can achieve. So, oh, I want to turn it off. You see, turn it off. So, okay, I need to do that, this and that to turn it off. Good. And the last option is better for some kind of reference. So what flag does what? So all these options have right to exist, but in the bit different contexts. And why placing the most important information in the beginning is important. We all have reading pattern that looks like this, like F letter. So we start from the first line, we're committed to read it in full. We're reading first line, maybe second, then like, okay, I don't have that much time. I go a bit down, then, okay, no, I need to read this another line or two, and then they go down straight. We're just scanning text, and we're looking for what we need, what we want to find there. And if you write an instruction, most likely you want the information to be found. You want people to achieve the goal. And so always try to place the most important information first. So if you're, I don't know, writing some instruction about how to use something, and there is like, I don't know, button nobody should press, because otherwise everything, I don't know, prod's gonna be crashed, ruined. Just start from saying, don't push that button. Warning, attention. And only after that explain why. So, and the last sentence. This one is just the messy sentence in the beginning. From the beginning, you need to, as I've said, read it several times to understand what's that, and so on. And I would even maybe divide it into the two sentences, also a good option. So, but yeah. So in all of these examples, again, initially was used passive voice. Active voice is generally shorter, clear, and sometimes we are trained even at schools to write with passive voice because it's like more scientific or something like that. But still, people don't talk like that, shouldn't write like that, actually. There are like only several exclusions where passive voice gonna be better. So, and that actually applies to every rule in track writing. Exclusions are possible. And if you not even maybe think, if you feel that it's gonna be better, you can forget about rule for one time. So, and another funny exercise. So we're talking about, so I give you explanation about the audience. So Jane and David, they're similar to us. They're about, we are of the same age, same educational level, work experience. So like normal modern people, but they never seen toothbrushes or toothpaste of any kind. I mean, your task to write instruction telling them how to get toothpaste on toothbrush, not how to brush your teeth. No, there's toothpaste on toothbrush, but you know that they don't know what's that. So completely normal things that you use every day. And actually, it's same at your job. There are things that you do every day. They're completely normal to you. You don't need to describe or explain it to somebody who does the same. But maybe then you talk about it with your colleagues, even with your manager sometimes. You need to give more details. So, and just with this exercise, it can show you that it's sometimes like really hard to explain very simple things to you, things that are very simple to you. Somebody wants to try, maybe some ideas, not like the full instructions of what you're going to use to explain this, how you're going to structure the text, and so on. Yep. Well,
I have a question. Do Jane and David know what an ordinary brush is? Like cleaning?
no, they don't.
Oh, okay. Because I thought just to say like it looks like a cleaning brush but smaller.
That's a good idea. So yes, you try to explore, try to look to the background, but that would be too simple if I know that. So object with the priestess at the end, good, really good. Rosanna, thank you. I've once had a question. So, okay, if they don't know what about brushes, how they can know about bristles? Also a good question. But yeah, these exercises are based on Google Technical Writing 1 course. So it's not something that I invented. And I'll give you all the links and all the information about it in the end. So, and the proposed answer contains what? Bristles. So, how you gonna structure that text with explanation? No ideas. Okay, let's go to the So it's a good idea to firstly try to explain what are these things. So we're gonna most likely have bulleted list or any other way to describe something. So we have bristles for toothpaste tube, something that will squishy smooth. So yeah, we can assume that maybe they know about the tube itself, or maybe not. So this and the tubes can have some content in it. So it's not like the item on itself. You can interact with it. So yeah, the item that is squishy and smooth, though not currently visible, gold toothpaste is inside the toothpaste tube, a rich cylindrical structure called the cap. Attaches to one end of the toothpaste tube. The just explanation what's that, and gives a bit of understanding how it works. And next we go to the instruction itself, numbered list. Oh, Ramona. I'll just read it to everybody, okay? They can always try with a finger, like putting their toothpaste on the finger and rub your teeth in a circular motion, up and down, left and right. Then you can say you can get a better result with a toothbrush that looks like finger, but it has some bristles at one end. Nice. So I like this explanation because it simplifies the process, and it's one of the major ways to describing anything. So, for example, when I was interviewing tech writers for the position of API technical writer, one of the questions was like, can you explain what's an API so 10-year-old child can understand it? So simplifying means you can understand yourself and you understand it good enough to not to be afraid of simplifying. And it works well with any audience. So, and yeah, once we described what these two items, toothbrush, toothpaste tube, look like, we can give the instruction. It's going to be a numbered list with like a lot of different steps. It looks like a bit of overcomplicated because we know how to brush teeth, but believe me, if it's about some completely new process you've never done before, it's exactly what you need. And yeah, interesting things that, interesting thing that I like about this, it's used word, for example, dominant hand, because people can be left-handed, can be right-handed. So you can actually think about lots of details about your audience and try to accommodate their needs, their skills. So it's like remembering that your documentation for some software project is going to read different people, newcomers and experienced colleagues. And for newcomer, you probably should give more details, or you just don't know what they know, and over-explaining won't hurt, actually. And yeah, that one time when I held this session, I've had a question like, okay, dominant hand, but some people also can have one hand or no hand. So the level of details, the level of assumptions about the audience, and your readiness to accommodate it is on you. But yeah, general rule is to think of the majority of the audience. So that's already gonna be good enough, maybe. And if you have time, if you have opportunity to make it more like accessible, good, do that, definitely do that. And I think it's the last. Oh, actually, no, we don't have time. Sorry for that one. So we're gonna go to the end. So I really like this picture. Let's have a look at it. So I hope that this session, even though it was quite a short one, gonna help you to implement something in your own writing in your job. Yeah, and if you want more, you can complete the world course Technical Writing 1. It's available online, so it's always live sessions. They're just being scheduled from time to time, conducted by technical writers from Google, and sometimes another tech writers from different organizations approved by Google authors. It has some pre-class material, so as I've said, a set of rules that can you apply, and in-class material. And if you really like it, you're gonna go for Technical Writing 2. All these courses are longer than this session, like 2 hours at least, one part of that. Yeah, and lots of people there, like 150 every time at least. But still, you can join. And yeah, I encourage you to do that if you want to know more. So resources are in the presentation. I think links or the whole presentation can be shared later, so you can find it. So, and that's it from my side. So we can go to questions if you have any.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. That was super interactive. And what I loved about it, that it was very accessible, for people to understand. So I think that was great. And it kind of puts everyone at ease and perhaps motivates people more to potentially explore this as a career. So indeed. So we didn't pick up on any questions in the chat because I know you guys been busy actually doing practical tasks. So now we have some time left, just under 10 minutes. So any questions to Lisa or any kind of thoughts? The floor is open, so feel free to engage.
Yep.
Go for it, Val. Thanks for this presentation. It was really interesting. And my question will be actually about this picture. So one of this comment in red box is about future tense, avoid future tense. I wanted to ask why, what is bad about it?
So future tense in documentation, so it's about simplifying the language. So not the concept, but the language, because if you write for like especially external audience, most likely the majority going to be non-native speakers. So English is used everywhere. It's an international language now, but not every person who uses it knows it's like actually good. And in the extraction, in case of instructions, because that's mostly about it, you should write just if you press this button, this happens. Not this will happen. So the simpler, the better. Less tenses used, better.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, nice question about culture of technical writing. So I will read it. I have a question now. How can someone create a culture of technical writing when it's not practiced in the workplace? So also a good question. When I was the only tech writer in the startup, I just tried to hold this kind of session for the first time in my career to introduce people to like all the benefits of it. I understand that's not always possible, but what you can do is just create some kind of instruction. People will see, they are good for some reason. I don't understand why. And
Mhm.
you give, there are some advices how you can make your text better. And also just if we are talking about management, so because of course writing instructions, writing something extra is time, money. You need to explain why it's beneficial. Money related benefits. Money related benefits is lack of knowledge. So if somebody leaves company, knowledge lives with that person. And sometimes it's like really, really hard to get it back and to understand how the system works. So a big problem for many companies with monolith structure of the code. So, okay, now we want to have microservices, but it's not documented. It's been coded 10 years ago, and all the people who done that are not in the company anymore. How we can do it without breaking everything? So all these examples are good for the management. So they give them clear benefit, money-related benefit. So yeah. So it also depends on the audience, actually,
Mhm.
who you're trying to.
Mhm. There's another question from Julie. So she's wondering about the demand for technical writers. Or is this an additional skill to some other professions? So what do you find?
So it depends on the company. So I faced when it's like an additional skill, but well, then you are asked to wear many hats. It's not good because not good for you most likely. Um, because you want to have major, you have your preferred skill. For example, you like code, you don't like writing documentation. Quite a usual situation for software engineers. And in case of comparing, for example, software engineering and technical writing, software engineering costs more, and so sometimes it's not that beneficial again for the company to pay you to do something that can be done by other person, done better and cheaper. That sometimes still. So also management sometimes doesn't understand. That's not a good idea. And yeah, what else? Um, Currently, so I cannot skip the AI part because, like, yes, that's a big monster, and people think and tend to believe that like so many professionals can be substituted by AI. And again, since all of the managers, for example, as I work in tech, my managers are tech guys. They know how to write code, and they understand that still AI cannot write good code without a proper instruction from a person who knows how to write the code, who can see if the problems in the generated code and so on. But they think that, okay, that everybody can write. So maybe we can replace all the tech writers because these texts are good enough. That, well, if you work with texts, you're going to say the same as tech guys about the code. You cannot generate actually good text if you don't understand what you want to get, if you cannot give an instruction, if you cannot change this instruction to make it better and to actually suit your needs. So maybe right now it's kind of a decline because of this like AI situation. So it's like general as in the world market, I would say. But I wouldn't bury this profession completely.
Mm, excellent. And I think we have a last question from Rosanna. So she's thankful for an interesting session, same as we all are, very thankful. And Rosanna is wondering, so what's previous work experience do you think is the best basis for moving into technical writing? So you said that you had some experience in writing, just on the other side of it. But how about any other useful
So
experiences?
actually, the background of tech writers is like so different. So I guess the most exotic one was a professional musician, and it was my colleague at one of the companies, and she was like really good in tech writing. So I guess she got into the profession through like this empathy path.
Mm-hmm.
So something like very soft skill related mostly, but and then you just get more and more and more information, hard skills and so on. So I'm actually biased about the background, the most beneficial background, because I'm from the writing side. So I know how to write, and I've learned hard skills. I've learned tech part, and I can understand how it can be learned. I can give instruction to somebody else how to learn this, to what extent, how deep, and so on and so on. And it's a bit more difficult to learn how to write if the person completely doesn't see the difference, because some things for me are on the layer of feelings mostly. They can be explained somewhat logical, but it's like too long explanation. So yeah, but again, I'm biased. Some other tech writers, especially obviously from tech with tech background, they have different experience and different gonna answer different on that question. So if you're interested in it, please drop me a message after the session. I'm gonna share one conference talk about raising tech writers, and it's exactly about backgrounds and experiments. So there was an employer who decided to create outsource company of tech writers, and he decided like, okay, I'm gonna just teach them. I'm gonna get different people and teach them. And he shared his experience. So drop a message if you're interested.
Amazing. All right. Well, we are pretty much a little bit over time. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining and thank you for your questions.